All right, and we're looking at a site that I built for someone a few years ago in Divi. There we go. Okay, so I go into my admin and all of a sudden I see this. Some of you might have seen this. It's telling me WordPress 5.7 is available. Please update now. WordPress will very often need updating. Your plugins will even more so often need updating. Your themes will sometimes need updating. And it's a little better than it used to be. 2 or 3 years ago, you had to be a lot more careful when updating things because very commonly your site would break. Like you would always have to make sure that you have your backups in place. So that's just the one thing I really want to kind of show you and share is you always want to make sure. See, this isn't even popping out. There we go. All right, well, this one is backed up in a different way. So I'm not going to go point out the backups, but you want to go into your settings backup area and make sure that your backups are ready to go. And then you go to dashboard and then updates. You see this one has 9 updates that's needed. You want to do this every once in a while. You don't necessarily have to do it like every single time an update pops up right away. But the reason that it's so important to have updates is because of security. I mean, it's not always just new features and things like that, but security is the big reason that all the professionals will recommend that you update as soon as possible, even though it can cause problems with your site sometimes. So you want to make sure you have backups. Plugins can all of a sudden not work anymore when you update and stuff like that. So there's kind of 3 areas here for the entire WordPress itself, and then for the individual plugins, and then even for the themes. There's all kinds of updates here. So I know my backups are good on this site, so I'm not going to go deal with it, but you definitely want to go into your settings, Updraft Plus or whatever it is for your backups and make sure that it's in good shape. And then I'm just going to click update. And this will take a minute or 2 to update WordPress because it's like updating the whole core of the thing. But then usually when you update WordPress itself, it has some kind of like message telling you, welcome to the new WordPress, and here's the new exciting things that are in it and all of that. Maybe, I don't know, once a week, once every 2 weeks, something like that. But you don't want to let it sit there for months or it can become a security hole because there's so many people using WordPress that hackers and bad actors will find a security hole and then they will exploit it on like millions of sites. So it's not like they need to be surfing your site. They've got little robots that do that for them. So I want to plug up all those holes by updating things. And let's take a peek at your backups, just so as I'm talking about that. It's so important. I just want to point it out. Updraft Plus backups there under settings. So all of you should, when you click on this settings page, you should see like 30 some plus backups. And you can see that for a week or so, it backs up only the database. And then once a week, it also backs up your plugins, themes, uploads, and other files, basically. So you're in good shape to do your updates. All right, so I updated WordPress and now it says, look at this. Now I have code is poetry, WordPress, jazz up your stories in an editor that's cleaner, crisper, and does more to get out of your way. All right, so now that I updated that, I'm gonna go back to my updates page. I always update WordPress first, that's the begin. And then from there, I'll go back and update the plugins. So I'm just gonna click select all. And again, I made sure that my backups were there before I'm doing any of this, because if you do backups and all of a sudden your site doesn't load, you want to be able to roll that back. All right, let's click update plugins. And usually it will go to this page and it may take a couple minutes. Again, it will technically put your site into what's called maintenance mode. And you may even see that come up. All right, so it updated all of these plugins and it said each one successfully. This one had some kind of issue, but you can see enabling maintenance mode and then disabling maintenance mode. And now my updates are down to 3. So now I can go to updates again. So now I'm looking at my themes and it's kind of silly that I'm updating all these themes when Divi is the only one I'm using. So I'm just going to do it right now because I don't want to waste the time. But what should happen is I should go, I should go into my themes area and just delete these other themes, this 2019, 2020, and 2021. Like I'm not using them, so I don't need them. So that's one of the reasons why I delete all of the themes except for the one I'm using, because it's annoying to constantly update them. But Apparently I never did that in this site. It's built a while ago. But just selected them all, updated the themes. I personally am just nitpicky with little warnings and things. So I want to get rid of all my little update bubbles, but then I also see I've got this little word fence bubble, these little warnings on WordPress. So I'll take a look at that real quickly as well. And once again, it shows me each of the things that are updated. So it says successfully next to each one. And now finally, I can click on updates for the 4th time. And now we are all updated. We have no updates pending, no WordPress, any of that stuff. So should do that every once in a while. It is a security fix type thing, but do, again, I've said it 3 times, I'll say it 3 more. Make sure that your backups are being backed up. If they are not, then you need to set up that schedule in the backup settings and put it in the, on your Google Drive and get that all set. So now taking a look at these little WordFence warnings, what happens is once a week or so, WordFence, our security plugin, it will scan your site for vulnerabilities and it'll find things and it will warn you that you need to do something about them. So I want to show you how you can get rid of these warnings and just kind of peek at what they are. So I can see that it found, well, somehow it went from 2 to 1 just by going to this page. There was one issue found in the most recent scan. Well, I'm just going to close it then. That'll get rid of it. But typically you should be able to click inside of the WordFence area and kind of find if you want to get rid of that, or you don't really have to worry about it too much. I'd say that unless you see that little yellow number get up to like, way higher than 2 or 3, if it gets like 20 or 30 and you see a whole bunch of issues, then you will probably want to check it out. Okay, so it looks like it was like currently updating while I was trying to do that. That's part of what the issue was. Now the notification is gone. I think that's what happened there, is it was automatically updating in the background. Interesting. All right, so anyways, once I did all my updates, I'm going to peek at the front end of this cheesy site and just make sure it's still there, because that can happen. You can totally screw up the entire site by doing updates. And it's loading the background super slowly, but it does appear to be there and stuff. Okay, cool. Yep. Good to go.